Hey guys, it's Katie, and I'm here today to do a review of A Murder on the Orient Express by Agatha Christie. I picked this book up because not only have I wanted to read it for a really long time, but a couple of my law school friends wanted to read it too. They wanted to do kind of like a reading group thing, and they wanted a short book. So, me being me and the book person that I am, I suggested that we read this, and they're like, cool. So I don't know if they finished it or if they've even picked it up yet, but I finished it, so I'm going to talk about it. Um, for those of you who kind of don't know what this book is about, it's just your typical murder mystery, only it happens on a train. And it's one of the best, if not the best, murder mysteries that I have ever read. I've read some other Agatha Christie books in the past. I read And Then There Were None, last fall, and then back in, I think, high school. And I really, really enjoyed that novel. It's one of her more well-known ones, so I'd definitely recommend picking that up or even seeing the movies that have been done about it because it's just been done in so many different variations and forms, and I really enjoyed that one. But A Murder on the Orient Express surpassed all of my expectations. It was so good, so well written, and as I said, it might be one of my all-time favorite murder mystery novels because of how it was written and the plot. And one thing that I really loved was that I didn't guess who did it right away. It took me a little while, which is generally pretty unusual for me. Normally, I can guess the plot and just kind of what happened within the first couple of chapters. But oh no, I was at, I think, about mid 70s on my Kindle when I started to kind of piece it together and came up with a theory, and it turned out I was at least partially right about my guess, and that was really exciting. But it turned out to be a really, really wild end, and of course, I'm not going to spoil it for you. But what this book is about is it is another one of the novels set in this, I guess, sub-series of hers dealing with this one. I don't remember if he's Dutch or I think he's a Dutch or Belgian detective. I think his last name is pronounced Poirot. Poirot. I don't even know, but you get the gist. He's kind of has his own little sub series in her novels, and the novel starts with our protagonist slash detective wanting to get on a train to go back to England because he has to go and attend to a business matter. And so he gets on the train ultimately, and a murder happens, and he solves the murder. That's pretty much the gist of what happens. But the way it happens is so intricately done and interesting and just phenomenal. The characters are fleshed out so well. I mean, it's a short book, and the amount of detail that Christie was able to put into her characters' lives, and as well as just the murder in general, was astonishing. I just fell in love with every single one of her characters. But let's talk a little bit about the structure because it was really cleverly done. It starts with the facts, so it's kind of like the setup, and like this is how things are gonna start, and this is what led up to the murder, and you just got to kind of meet everybody. Then in the second chunk, it takes place right after the murder occurs, and that is the evidence section. And that's just Poirot collecting all different kinds of evidence and testimony and just trying to piece together and paint a picture of everything that happened or could possibly have happened. And then the final chunk was the kind of conclusion section, which is where he pieces everything together and explains his reasoning as to why he came to the conclusion that he did. And as I said, I really, really loved like all of it. Did I have a few minor issues with some things? Yes, but I also realized that the time period it was set in was its own thing. Um, the two little nitpicky things that I'll just briefly mention is the view of left-handed people, because they always seem to paint them as the bad guy. Like, if you ever read a good murder mystery, it's always the left-handed person did this thing. And as a lefty, still get the I still run into people with the mindset that left-handed people are evil and are possessed by the devil and whatever. And guys, it's 2018. Can we not have that be a thing anymore? And the fact that it's still present in books, even classics and things, it's just a little bit irritating. But just I noticed that, and I just kind of sat there for a second. I was like, you went there. Okay, that's fine. And then the second thing was that the thing happened in Yugoslavia, or what is former Yugoslavia. And that is also just hilarious to me because I am Serbian. And if you haven't noticed lately, we're often painted as the bad characters. And just the fact that this murder happened to happen in Yugoslavia, it was just like, okay. Also, time period, I know there was certain stigma surrounded by that part of the world during certain times and even now. So I mean, I understand it. It doesn't mean I have to love it. In some ways, both of the things that I just mentioned just make me laugh because I'm just like, oh, this is so typical, like this is still a thing now, and this novel was written a long time ago. But as I said, they're just such tiny little insignificant things that they just didn't really take away from the plot. But let's get back to my gushing obsession of this book. I've had a bit of a rough month, so I mean, the fact that this book was able to keep me interested enough despite my busy, chaotic life, especially this week, was a really big feat. And I really enjoyed reading it when I had a moment. I know that this probably would have been a book that I binge read if I had the time, but it was also nice getting to spread it because then I was able to think about it a little bit more as I went. But yeah, I definitely loved it. And if you haven't read any Agatha Christie yet, definitely add this one for sure to your list. This one and Then There Were None are both classic Agatha Christie novels. But definitely check Agatha Christie out if you like murder mysteries or just mysteries in general or want a really good, fun book to pick up. But yeah, that's about all I've got for you today. So as always, feel free to like, subscribe, comment, follow me on social media. I have a Twitter and a Goodreads, which are both linked below. And I also have other social media sites, such as a Tumblr, a second Twitter, and an Instagram upon request. So let me know if you'd like them. And I will come back with another video for you guys again soon. Okay, bye.